I, teen female, have a younger sister, Jade, teen. We also have older twin brothers, 20. Before all of this, we were best friends and incredibly close. A family joke is that technically, we're almost twins because we were born in the same year, me in January and her in December. 4 months ago, an awful secret was revealed about our mother. Jade and I used our own money to buy one of those DNA things that tell you about your ancestors. We asked our mom to get it for us once, but she just brushed it off and said we know what we are. Mom is Korean, Dad is Polish, so it's a waste of money. We only asked once when we were tweens, then, so I guess she thought we forgot about it eventually. When we got the results, we saw that I was Korean and Polish, just as expected, but Jade was Korean and Irish. She was 0% Polish. We were shocked and even ordered a second one. The results were the same. We were both dumbfounded and had no idea what to do. We discussed maybe just throwing it out and never speaking of it again. Before we could officially decide, one of the twins saw the results on Jade's desk and took it to our dad. We had no idea he knew. For another week or so, he just acted normal, if not a bit colder. Somehow, he got a bit of Jade's hair and did a paternity test. He's not her biological father. He didn't even speak to us afterward. He just packed a bag, texted Mom the test results, and moved out. The way my mom tells the story is that they were going through a rough patch after my birth. She felt unloved and had a random one-night stand. She said she immediately regretted it and was terrified because they hadn't used condoms. Once she got home, she slept with our dad too. When Jade was born, she looked just like Mom, so it was never questioned if her husband was the father. She didn't want to know. I'm furious with her. Dad got his own place and is now going through the divorce process. He's fighting for partial custody of me, but not Jade. The twins are adults and still visit him anyway. He isn't outwardly aggressive with Jade, but now pretends that she doesn't even exist. He won't even look at her. It all disgusts me. Obviously, Jade is taking all of this very hard. She hates Mom too, but is slowly developing a deeper resentment toward Dad. He just abandoned her, despite all her years as his child. I've been as supportive as I can. I've promised to do my best to avoid being with my dad when she's not invited. The main issue was when I caught her doing something 3 days ago. Dad's mom passed away suddenly when he was 10. She left behind a large collection of expensive jewelry. He keeps it all in a little box alongside a picture of her. I saw my sister secretly grab it and walk away. I asked her what she was doing. She then revealed she was going to destroy the jewelry and toss the shards into the ocean. We live very close to the coast. I love that jewelry. Jade and I used to try on little pieces from the box our entire childhood. She saw my hesitation and asked what was wrong. I explained why I thought we shouldn't destroy it, but she got very angry. She said I'm supporting Dad in abandoning her. She even said that since I obviously don't value her as a half-sister, we shouldn't act like sisters at all. One of the twins heard us and grabbed the box before she could do anything. I don't know how to fix this or reassure her. I feel like I hate everyone. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Did your mom put you guys into therapy? It sucks for Jade, and she needs support. But the world isn't black and white, and your dad isn't superhuman. He's having a very normal reaction. Please don't do anything you don't want to do with the idea that it's helping Jade. She needs therapy, and your mom needs to start it ASAP and do family therapy for you, Jade, and herself to work through the resentment feelings. You get to have a relationship with your dad if you still want one. Fully supporting does not extend to letting her destroy your family's heirlooms, not to mention theft and destruction of your father's, not hers, property. Your dad was hurt a lot, and it's surely not easy for him. But to abandon his child, whom he raised for so many years, who did nothing wrong, is just cruel. Your father broke up a seemingly good family for the 4 of you. The only one who broke it was their mom. If he had been told about the affair when it happened, he could have divorced Mom when it happened. Unfortunately, because of Mom's lies, cheating, and deceit, the last 15 years has been a lie. The dad is a victim, and to expect him not to be justified in having strong feelings about this is the kind of thinking that creates masculine toxicity. I feel like your dad may have had suspicion on some level about your mom. This is traumatic for all of your siblings, but your sister needs therapy ASAP. Your dad would have probably had her arrested for destroying jewelry, so it's a good thing you all stopped her. I live on the West Coast, and I regularly host my relatives from the East Coast in Europe. I love the backcountry here. Showing it off to my relatives is one of my favorite things. I'm a geologist for a mining outfit, so I have all kinds of equipment and training. My uncle from Germany brought his family here before the global issue, and we had a great visit until one of my cousins started looking through my garage when we were packing up for a short camping trip. I made sure that they were all aware of the reasons for using bug spray. Beyond mosquitoes, we have ticks in the area, and long pants are the best way to avoid them, but insect repellent is also a good idea. My idiot cousin found my bear spray and thought she might like to try and give herself a nice coating and be safe from bears. If you don't know, bear spray isn't meant to be worn as a topical application. You spray it at a bear's face to get it to bugger off. She ended up coughing her lungs out and was covered in all the milk products in my house, plus some extra that my wife had to go buy. And occasionally, I'll move something in my garage and catch a whiff of the capsaicin. Now my cousin wants to come back for a visit. I was reluctant. She asked me why, and I reminded her of her last visit to my home 4 years ago. I asked if she had gotten better about keeping her hands to herself. I guess she and her boyfriend share the Facebook account she contacted me from. He asked what I was talking about, so I told him what she did. So now her dad is mad at me for bringing up a stupid mistake. She's mad at me because her boyfriend is laughing at her, and my wife is mad at me for sharing family information. I wasn't trying to embarrass her. I hate how much time and effort I put into cleaning my garage and gear. Not the idiot. She's lucky she didn't end up in a hospital. If she's old enough to travel with her boyfriend now, she was at the very least a teen on her last visit. She should have read the directions on the bear spray. It tells you exactly what it's all about. She should have known better. It was a fair question, and if her mistake was supposed to be a highly guarded secret, they should have at least let you know. I understand her embarrassment at her boyfriend's teasing, and I can see why she would want to lash out, but that doesn't make it appropriate for her or the rest of your family to grill you about it. I'm sure the girl can handle a little teasing. However, they all need to remember that you're doing them a kindness by hosting them, and they aren't doing themselves any favors by making this a bigger issue than it needs to be. At the end of the day, it's your home. Yeah, OP, you may still be a little annoyed, but you were just telling a family story. Your cousin's a little embarrassed, but she'll get over it. In 20 years, it'll be funnier to everyone. But if she does come to visit, buy her some bear spray as a welcome gift. I'm a 33-year-old male. My set schedule is Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 4 p.m., but typically, I'm at work from 6 a.m. to 7 p.m. a lot of nights because I'm a manager and we deal with many call-outs. It's a very physically demanding job, as we must move steel lifts by hand, 150 plus pounds. I also have to do grocery runs nearly every night and laundry on my days off because the apartment doesn't have a washer and dryer hookup. My wife homeschools my 3 kids right now, male teen, female, young teen, and male tween, but only until the school system puts plans in place for online schooling. We also have an infant daughter who's strictly breastfed and requires a lot of my wife's time and energy, so we're both really busy and drained. Yesterday's work was one of the worst days by far. I came home with bruises and blisters on my hands, legs, and stomach. 4 call-outs, so it was only me and one other employee, who's an 18-year-old who doesn't do much outside of check TikTok. I was in a reasonable amount of discomfort and just wanted to relax. I took the baby when I got home after grocery shopping and went to sit in front of the TV. My wife got dinner prepared and dishes out. I returned the baby to her because it was feeding time, and then I ate dinner. My wife gets the baby to sleep and starts cleaning the dishes. Well, I left my lunch pail in the truck and asked my wife to grab it for me, and she completely spiraled. She's like, "Are you going to get off your butt and do absolutely anything tonight? Or do you just expect me to be the maid? Want me to wipe your butt while I'm at it?" I asked her what she was on about, and she said, "I homeschooled all day with a baby attached to my breast, did the dishes just to make dinner I don't get to eat, and then rewashed the dishes just to have to put the baby down, and now you're asking me to do more, even though you're doing jack." I just said, whatever, and dismissed it because it wasn't worth the fight. But today, I texted her and asked what she was doing, and she said, "Everything, per usual." So apparently she's still on her tangent. I don't ask for much, but last night I wasn't willing to do anything. Am I the idiot? Edit. I didn't see it as a big deal because she was going outside anyway to water her plants. You act like you're the only one who works hard. You didn't take turns with the baby so you could both eat? You got groceries after work, but didn't help cook? Then after all that, and she still didn't have a chance to eat dinner, you didn't even offer to help clean the dishes? And you asked her to go out to your vehicle to get your lunchbox because you weren't, quote, willing to do anything? Yeah, you are the idiot. Help your partner for Pete's sake. She's tired too. Jesus, she's 2 months postpartum. Her body hasn't healed yet from childbirth. She's taking care of 4 children all day by herself. She clearly does all the cooking and cleaning, and you expect to be thanked? Why do you think you get a cookie for working 13-hour days when her job is apparently 24/7? Yeah, man, you give a lot of detail about how tough your job is, but from her point of view, you came home and sat in front of the TV, letting her do everything for you while you held the baby. And the part about how she didn't get to eat dinner herself, that you don't seem to have even noticed in your retelling of how her evening was going. Dude, stop dismissing your wife. Being dismissive will only cause more issues. When you see that your wife is physically doing dishes and hasn't had a chance to sit down, you can get your own darn lunchbox. My wife and I have 3 children, and this situation involves our 2 oldest. Back when they were young, we had crazy work schedules. On the other hand, her brother has a job and a position where he can come and go as he pleases, so we helped with our children. The 3 of us took turns taking the kids to school and picking them up. The kids sometimes stayed with him for a day or 2. When they grew older, our work schedule stabilized, so we didn't rely on him as much. However, the kids are incredibly attached to their uncle, to the point it seems like I'm being replaced. Once when our daughter ran out of panty liners, she called her uncle to ask him to pick her up some. My wife was at work, but I was working in the yard, and she didn't think to ask me. A year ago, our son was questioning his orientation, and instead of coming to his mother or me, he went to talk to his uncle. And then my brother-in-law told my wife about their conversation. I was the last to know about it. On our daughter's last birthday, she was most excited about his gift because he got her the exact model and color tennis racket she wanted. She didn't take a second look at my present. The last straw happened earlier today when our son was sick at school. Instead of calling me or his mother, he called his uncle. Brother-in-law texted us about the situation and asked my wife to call the school so that he could pick up our son. I was home, and no one asked me to do it. I was furious when brother-in-law dropped our son off. I confronted him about overstepping our family boundaries, and we argued. I told him to leave our house and leave our children alone. My wife just got home from work and we argued. She doesn't like how I talk to her brother, but I don't like how I'm being left out of my children's life. She said we're lucky to have him help us, but I don't want his help anymore. Am I wrong to want to be in my children's life? You are the idiot. If your children don't feel like they can confide in you or depend on you, that's not your brother-in-law's fault. It's not your children's fault. It's not your wife's fault. You must look at what you're doing to be involved in their lives. Being present is not the end of the story when it comes to kids. They say it takes a village to raise a child. He's part of their village. Your story reads like you're more concerned about your feelings of jealousy than you are about anybody's well-being. This is all about your feelings of inadequacy, so maybe work on becoming adequate instead. He doesn't want to build relationships. He wants them to confide in him when they don't seem to trust him. His attitude and whining here are excellent examples of why they may not like him. He expects that by creating them, they should only turn to him. Well, he doesn't need to put in any effort. The uncle put in the effort to build relationships for several years, and OP expects it to be automatic for him. Yeah, OP is a major idiot. So instead of becoming a proper father to his kids, he will take away their only true father figure, making them angry and pushing them even further away from you, OP. And you really think getting rid of brother-in-law will automatically make them close to you? No, you've actually got to be a good dad yourself, not just get rid of their uncle. And it's incredibly selfish. You're going to make them suffer because of your ego. Jesus, you are the idiot, massively. I share custody of my two boys, 7 and 10, with their mom. She remarried a few years ago to Chris. Our custody agreement is fairly black and white and includes a right of first refusal, meaning that if my ex or I need a sitter, we must ask the other parent first. My ex and I started to get along because of our agreement. She was supposed to pick our kids up yesterday and keep them until Thanksgiving. I called her to review their schedule for next week, and she said she was going out of town for business and would return on Monday. I asked when she was going to tell me that, and she said, calm down. She said Chris would be home and had planned a surprise trip to Dave & Buster's with our kids and a couple of their friends today. I said, I'm not okay with you making childcare plans behind my back. You're supposed to ask me first. I said it puts me in a bad situation because if I just say okay, then you'll do it again. Had you run it by me, then I would have been okay. I can't let it go, but as a consolation, I'll take the kids and their friends to Dave & Buster's. She called later and said she spoke to Chris, and he cried when she said that I'd take the kids instead of him. She said he was really looking forward to spending time with the boys and was going through a rough time, and spending time with the boys and their friends was the only thing that made him happy. He had picked up overtime to pay for everything and bought my son's friends stuff like underwear and shirts from Old Navy because they needed new clothes. She asked me to let Chris take them all to Dave & Buster's. Plus, it would look weird if I showed up to pick up the boys' friends and the parents were expecting Chris. I said no, and I really don't want to go to Dave & Buster's. Does the right of first refusal extend to step-parents? As in, they can't even watch their own stepkids if the bio parent doesn't want them to? That sucks. Yet another reason never to be a step-parent or get emotionally involved with someone with kids. As for you, way to be petty. You don't want to go. You're just making sure everyone knows your butt is bigger than your heart. You are the idiot. Exactly. He's the stepdad. So if mom goes grocery shopping alone, is he allowed to watch the kids, or do they need to call dad? This isn't about babysitting. They don't need a sitter. Stepdad is with them. Talk about ruining the boys' relationship with the man they live with. This is about a power struggle with your ex, where the power is more important than your kids are, and it won't end well for you, OP. Do you know how rare it is for kids to have a stepdad who cares? This dude is making an effort, and you're crapping all over it because you feel threatened. If you really cared about your children, you would be grateful for every caring adult they have in their lives. And I really don't want to go to Dave & Buster's? Jesus, then don't go. Let Chris take them and apologize to everyone involved for your childish behavior.